be as authentic as possible. And no matter the kind of loss that you have, because everybody has them, be aware of what your strengths and limitations are. I do not call them weaknesses because there is no weakness as such. It's only a limitation and it can be overcome anytime. And when you're aware of that, you um, you're so organized within that nothing can actually have any untoward control over you. And that's what I would want or urge people who are listening to us to go ahead with, and be kind, because you never know what the other person is going through.
Hi and welcome to another episode of the People Hum interview series. This is your host Anushka Rajesh at LeadersHum. peopleHum is an end-to-end one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM, that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month. We have with us today Bhavana BP. As a solopreneur, Bhavana empowers people to grow into their best. She strictly believes that life happens and we must all have an open mind and heart to tread the path shown to us. This has enabled her to learn, adapt, and grow at a greater speed, and also take people on similar growth paths along with her. What really keeps her going is her journey to optimism and resilience. Her purpose in life is based around 3 I's: inspire, influence, and impact. And she lives that purpose through her content and talks. As someone who believes communication is one of the biggest game changers, especially in the digital space, she has marched into personal branding, content creation, the space of podcasts, video making, and social media marketing. We cannot be more thrilled to welcome her today on our interview series. Welcome, Bhavana. We're thrilled to be talking to you today.
Thank you so much, Anushka. That was pleasant to hear. Thank you.
Most welcome. It's absolutely our pleasure. So jumping right deep into the questions, Bhavana, the first question I had for you is, can you tell us a little bit about the great work that you do as CEO at Let Me Listen, and also a little bit about how this endeavor really came to be?
Right. So, as the Chief Empowerment Officer and the founder of Let Me Listen, I started this venture on 3rd of November 2019. As I've grown up seeing my dad help a lot of people, and that was his purpose in life. And I kind of, at some point, I felt that was a calling for me as well. And I took it up as a collective purpose that I share with him. And that's when this entire venture came out into being. And what I do through this is basically to, I have this innate feeling that people have this feeling to be heard. More often than not, a coffee with a best friend solves most of the problems. Right. So people have this innate need to be heard. And when Let Me Listen came into being, I understood that I'm fulfilling that, because whether or not they need solutions to certain problems, they always need a pair of ears that can listen without judgment, and with a lot of encouragement and support. And Let Me Listen has, it's divided into three things, because I feel that for an ideal person, mind, body, and soul should be in sync, like one unit. And for that to happen, I help them. That's when they become their best, and that's what I empower them to be.
Wow, that is great. That's wonderful work that you're doing there, Bhavna. And I think that's really a need of the hour to bring all their voices out together to foster like a really diverse workspace, and like to be open to multiple perspectives, even if they're different. So congratulations on the great work that you're doing there.
Thank you so much.
So going on to the next question, you've always lived by the idea that variety is the spice of life, and now in a post-pandemic world, that has become rather mundane. How would you say employees can really imbibe this motto even with remote work?
Well, that's very interesting that you ask, because I truly believe that life is anything but mundane. Anything but mundane, because there are varied perceptions within ourselves and other people that we interact with, and there's all that probably life is asking us to do is have an open mind and be inclusive of every person. I mean, you can agree to disagree, right? You can have an open mind, have a better conversation with another person, be open, be, have different varied perceptions, so that you look at each issue from a different viewpoint altogether. And then when you do that, right, you start adapting yourself to the, mundane, as you call it. But situations always change, times always change, it's never the same. And the way you adapt talks so much about your learnability as well. And the moment you learn, you open different horizons for yourself, and that's how you grow. And that's what I always feel, because life is anything but mundane. And as you mentioned, post pandemic era, during the pandemic and after, it's been a huge learning curve for most people, because nobody was expecting such unprecedented times, such difficult times. Life is but uncertain, right? And what happens? I mean, what happens is that, life happens, and you sort things as they come by. And post pandemic, I have seen a lot of people going out of their comfort zone in upskilling, and that can never be mundane. The moment you upskill, you're getting out of your comfort zone, and that's where the growth lies.
Wow, that was really well elucidated by you, Bhavna. And I can't agree more with you. Like now, reskilling and upskilling ourselves is really catching up, and people really want to learn and constantly be on this journey of learning, which doesn't have like a start and an end point. So
Absolutely.
that I love.
Absolutely. And then, in a way, the pandemic actually has shown us different, as I mentioned, perceptions, right? Perspectives. It's different, because earlier, I mean, workspaces also never encouraged work from home as much, and now it's become a norm. People are spending as much time with their loved ones as possible. So things that were never seen earlier are almost a part of our daily life now. So why should we not be, receptive of such lovely things? I mean, look at the brighter side of life.
Absolutely. So the pandemic really has a silver lining to it. We're seeing more of work-life integration, if I may call that.
Yes, probably not so much of a balance, but yeah.
Great, Bhavna. Love that response.
Thank you.
Going on to the next question, how important would you say interpersonal relations in the workspace and just understanding personal successes? And what would you say are some tips or strategies to follow the same?
Well, see, interpersonal skills are everything that is there to human connections. People matter. As I always say, people matter. And that's the only thing that matters. So we as humans are a bundle of thoughts, ideas, and emotions, right? We run on emotions. That's what truly drives us. So the moment you have less of interpersonal skills, you're missing out on a lot of things, lot of interaction with human beings, with fellow humans. And that way, in the long run, you lose out on life itself. Okay, the digital space has actually brought us all together, and it's great. And yet, at one point, we're probably losing out on these interpersonal skills, because there's not much of a people to people interaction. Be it an office, when was the last time that people actually went to another colleague and asked, how are you doing? And then, I'm good is not probably the right answer. You might have to dig deeper, and that you will understand that I'm good might have something deeper only when you know and understand that there's a bigger thing that is lying underneath. And you'll realize that only when you start talking to more and more people. Or the other thing is, having an interpersonal skill with oneself also brings a huge and tremendous result. When I mention interpersonal skill with oneself, I meant to say, think, reflect, understand who you are before you understand the other person. And the moment you do that, you're setting a lot of things in place within yourself. You're organizing. And then the vibration that you put forward when you're meeting the other person, then that connection is going to go great heights.
Wow, love that response, Bhavna. I love how you put that humans in general are just a bundle of emotions and thoughts and feelings. That's a really fresh perspective that you gave us, and I can't agree more with your entire response. It makes complete sense.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much for that valuable insight you provided our audience with.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So, going on to the next question, would you like to elaborate a little on your philosophy of the three I's for our audience? Because I personally find it very intriguing, and I'm really curious to know more about it.
Okay, so there was one time last year when I was early last year around the same time when I was in a very reflective mood. I was quite pensing, and there was this message that came to my mind, which was about the three I's, which is I was thinking so much about my purpose, and then I knew that it's driven by these three I's when I heard it inside me. It was inspire, influence, and impact. Now these three I's are the vision of Let Me Listen. When I say inspire, I love to inspire those who wish to see the spark in themselves, and those who wish to see the same in others as well. Okay. And when I say I would like to influence, it's not about power. It's not about the power and influence as in, having some control over other people. It's about influencing people to see, you know, to see the greater good, to see the biggest, brighter side of life, to influence them towards growth. And the impact is quite easy to understand because it's about the positive impact. Because see, all of us are here to create. All of us, whether we like it or not, we create an impact on the other people that we interact with. Okay, and if you want to leave a lasting impact on people that you interact with, it's always best that you have the right intentions in mind, and that positive impact can take you and the other person also to greater heights. It's not always something that you want to get out of the other person. It's always about the right intent to help them become their best, and that way you are actually growing as well.
Wow, lovely, lovely. That was so positive. I mean, I love how you are actually like telling people to go out of their comfort zone, and there's so much motivation and positivity beaming from your side, Bhavna. Uh, so I really appreciate that. It's really heartwarming to see something like the philosophy of the three I's, and absolutely, I completely agree with you on how it's just the human touch, and we need to make others feel wanted and be like a kind of beacon light and a mentor and a guide to them sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, these three I's, the mission of Like Millicent again is to, connect, collaborate, and create. So the three C's that come into picture there, which is about, again, you mentioned connecting with other humans, right? It's about the similar mindset or like-minded, like-hearted people across the globe that I would like to connect with, and which I have been doing. And collaboration is always, more the people, the wider the impact, the wider the audience, or bigger the impact. And when you're creating, there's some magic that happens, right? When you're collaborating with the best minds or the best intentions, rather, I would say, then it's amplified. So whatever you create is truly magic.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. Great response. So, Bhavna, I don't want to wrap this interview up, but unfortunately, I would have to. So, do you have final sound bites you'd like to leave our audience with?
Uh, okay. So I see. One thing that I would like to tell everybody is that be open to anything that comes your way, because everything has a reason. Every person also has a reason. The opportunities also have a reason to come to you. Take them, because they, either you like it or not, or either you know about it or not, it's for your own, it's for your own learning. There's always a lesson that's behind it, including failures. Probably they're the biggest, biggest teachers that we can have. And I would say, be yourself. Be as authentic as possible. And no matter the kind of loss that you have, because everybody has them, be aware of what your strengths and limitations are. I do not call them weaknesses because there is no weakness as such. It's only a limitation and it can be overcome anytime. And when you're aware of that, you um, you're so organized within that nothing can actually have any untoward control over you. And that's what I would want or urge people who are listening to us to go ahead with, and be kind, because you never know what the other person is going through.
Absolutely. So it's openness, authenticity, and kindness.
Yes.
I completely agree with you, and it's really essential now more than ever to have a non-judgmental attitude towards others and be tolerant of diverse opinions. So, thoroughly agree with you on that one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bhavna. Thanks for taking out the time to talk to us today. I had a fun time interviewing you, gaining so many fresh insights and perspectives, and I'm really hoping to do a second version of this sometime in the near future.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to talk to you guys. And peopleHum has been doing an incredible job at bringing leaders from different platforms on one stage. And truly, hats off to you and all your team.
Thank
The
you very
efforts are really commendable.
much. Really means a lot. Thanks a lot, Bhavna.